Ow. What's good, my peoples? It's your main man Solace here checking in again. I want to do this quick video for y'all, breaking down how life in all life forms and everything that has to do with life is basically just a math problem. Now we have to understand books and all of these things, reading, history, none of this is what on a universal aspect is reference. It's just what men call reference. But the true reference is numbers. Numbers prove anything. So anything that has to do with life lies in the numbers. See, you have to understand. Men lie, women too. But money don't. Numbers don't. See, y'all done made me slip back into my dope boy times. I'm about to start talking like I used to talk when I was selling dope. I used to tell her, listen here, baby. Men lie, women too. Money don't. Here's cab fare. Shoe fly. Then she slaps me. Then I call her the B word. Then she say things like, nigga, fuck you. I've been kicked out of better places than this. Then I say things like, good. Then you should be happy at your own goddamn house. But forget all of that. Let me get into this video, man. Now, numbers prove a certain thing's existence. So numbers prove a certain thing's existence, whether you can see it or not. So basically, to put it in layman's terms, everything is basically a math problem. Even you are a math problem. Everything that has to do with life or is life is a math problem. Now, let me break that down for you. 99% of the human body is made of only 6 elements. 85% of the remaining 1% is the spirit. Now, I'm going to get into that in a minute, but just hold on. Now, the 6 elements that make up the human body is oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, calcium, carbon, and phosphorus. Now, in this is what makes up a man, and in this is where the math problem lies, because each element I named holds an atomic number, meaning it's an atomic number, and the name was given to it by man. So oxygen, nitrogen, all of these things can be called anything they want in any man's language. But to find the true reverence of what a man is speaking of is the numbers. Numbers are universal. So all you would have to do is say atomic number 8 in any language, because 8 is always 8. Even if you speak in another language and they say 8 in a different word, they know fully what you're talking about. So numbers is universal. You never can get confused when you speaking to anyone if you just dealing with numbers. If I go like this, I don't care what language you speak. You know I'm saying 1. So it's a deep thing. We have to grasp that. So now you have the 6 elements that make up a human body. Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, calcium, and phosphorus. Now, all of these things are truly atomic numbers. Now, oxygen's atomic number is number 8. Nitrogen's is number 7. Hydrogen's is number 1. Calcium's is number 20. Carbon, we know, is number 6. And phosphorus is number 19. So now, here lies the math problem, because it's a deep thing. See, 3 carbon atoms is what make up the carbon in the body. So the 6 elements, 1 is carbon. So now you need 3 number 6s when making the man. When making the animal, maybe you may need 2 number 6s. I don't know. I understand this. I don't look for I grasp what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to give you an understanding. So an animal's may be a different math problem. So you have 3 carbon atoms that make up the carbon. 666. So it's a simple thing. 3 number 6s plus a certain number of 8s, which would be the oxygen, plus a certain number of number 7s, which would be the nitrogen, etc., is how you get a physical man. So it's a simple, deep thing. There lies the math problem, which is you, which is everything that is life. It's basically a math problem. And then that math problem is given a name. And this is the beginnings of men becoming lost. This is why numbers is important. Because numbers are the true reference to anything that you may be speaking of. It's truly a simple thing. Psychology, science, math, etc. All of this comes from life. The universal understanding of life. This is how you get all of that through numbers. So you figure what I just broke down to you is science. It's also math. I broke down psychology. I broke down census. You could say when a person's taking a census, they're trying to get a percentage of a certain question. How many people are brown skinned in the world? So they take a census of that and then they get a percentage. In there lies your truth. So any man can come and say it's 1 million brown people. It's this many brown people. You take your numbering to get the truth, not the words. So understanding numbers is a truly deep thing. It's a universal thing. This is why people tend to put me in a science category and say, oh, he's a scientist. I'm everything that, whatever you're talking about, I'm not. Because I know brothers use this as their little mechanism. If they speaking history, and a lot of brothers claim to be scholars. So this is the way they try to avoid me and say, well, that he's smart on his science. But it's different. Nah, I ain't on science. I'm on everything. Whatever you talking about, I'm talking about too. Just makes more sense when I speak it. Because I grasp it on a universal level as opposed to tunnel vision. I'm just focusing on that or this. But we have to understand that is the makeup of a man. So you figure carbon is number 6. To make up a man is a math problem. So I need 6 plus another 6 plus another 6. That is 18. That is carbon. I need that. And it's a simple thing. And it's a deep thing. Because carbon makes up 18.5% of the weight of the body. So when I say 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's my 3 carbon atoms, which are number 6. They actually add up to that weight within the body. So it's a truly deep thing. And then you take that and you add it to a certain number of 8s, which would be the oxygen. And that would equal up to the mass of a person. So oxygen, you probably got about 8 oxygen atoms, let's say. And that would add up to 65% of the weight of the body, which is the oxygen. So it's a truly deep thing, but it's simple. Now, how do I know it's 8? I need 8 of the nitrogen. Well, I know nitrogen is 65% of the body. So I don't know how many of the nitrogen, but I know how to add. So I know it's about 8. I know it's 3 of the carbon, which are number 6, and that equals 18%. So it's the same process. It's all math. If you can understand that, what I just said, you could make a man if you had the elements before you. If all the elements was laid before you, physically. You could physically put together a man if you knew the numbering of a man. As opposed to a man telling you, oh, a man is this much blood, a man is that much this and that. You'll be confused. You'll never get anywhere. But if you go to the true reference of everything, like I said, which is numbers, like I'm trying to show you, you will never get the straight away. Now, if you need more understanding on what I'm saying, go back to my video, Understanding Numbers, where I broke down the 3, 6, 9, and Tesla and Fibonacci. This is to let you see that numbers come from life. It's almost like all life came from the Creator, the Mighty All. In all things like reading, math, and blah, 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 and all social things we use come from numbers. This is why you have a social security number, blase, blase. Everything is documented and referenced through numbering because this is how the universe works. So it's a deep, simple thing. Now, the 1% that's left, because I know a lot of y'all thought I forgot. No. The 1% that's left, remember I said the body is made of 99% of the body is made of the 6 elements? Well, the 1% that's left, 85% of that 1% that's left, that is the spirit. And that is made of potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. Now, the interesting thing is sulfur, which is one of the elements of the spirit, when that mixes with phosphorus, which is one of the elements of the body, this is how you get fire. Heat. You're warm. I just gave you a jewel. Look into that. Gain yourself some knowledge. Please. Because I can't tell you everything. You ain't going to learn nothing. But now you know how to add a man up. Now you know if you had elements in front of you and you chose to do research, a man could be made in a laboratory. So now you understand that things can be made, but it's all made of the life. So if a person say, oh, Anunnaki made man, that's okay, but they use the elements of life. So you're still life. You have a sperm cell in you, which is the spirit. If you have a goddamn spirit, you're life. So it don't matter who made you or who birthed you or none of that. As long as you have the elements that are of the life, then you good to go. Now, you can have the elements that are of the life and no spirits. Then I don't know what you are. But if you got a spirit, which is the sperm cell, meaning if you're a sperm cell that got the egg, then you come from the universe. I don't care if a man, whatever he chose to do, alter it, whatever he chose to do, it is what it is. That man is not your God. So if the Anunnaki made us, they're not our God. They were created also. They just did shit they shouldn't have. Altering the life. Let things progress on its own. But however you want to look at it, they would not be your God. So we need to wrap our minds off all of this stuff. Because it holds no true reference to the universal understanding, which is the mighty all, which is the thing y'all call God, the creator. This is what I be speaking of. Now, like I just said, they say, basically I'm telling you that sulfur and phosphorus makes heat. It makes fire. You can look that up. Your body and your spirit is made of these things. So that should get you to start to grasp certain other things. Also, I want to say oxygen is in its liquid form is blue. Blood cells live in blood plasma. Blood plasma is yellowish. The rest is water. So now, they say that blood is blue when it's within the body. Use what I just said as a Jew. Oxygen in its liquid form is blue. Blood cells are suspended within the blood plasma, which is yellow. But they say blood is blue within the body, but you bleed red. But I'm off that. Now, I want to get to this relativity in Einstein equation before I disconnect this video, because this goes into you understanding that life is a math problem. Now, does that mean math is better than science, or that science is better than history in trying to understand things? No. They all come from the universe, which is numbering. So it's a simple thing. If I'm speaking of numbers, I'm coming from a universal aspect, not as a mathematician. If I break down some sperm biology, I am not coming as a scientist. I am coming on a universal aspect of that. Simple. Now, E equals mc squared is the famous relativity equation that Einstein. And what E equal mc squared means, or the definition of it is, energy is equal to mass multiplied by the speed of light. So energy is equal to mass multiplied by the speed of light. Now, if you like how I am, I get frustrated when people talk in this manner. Why can't you just explain E equals mc squared and make it make sense? Because energy equals mass multiplied by the speed of light times square root W. That don't mean nothing to a regular person. What does that mean? Let me break it down for you in regular people words, because I be wondering, did Einstein even know what he was talking about? Because I know what he's saying, but do he know what he's saying? Because why do people talk confusing? Now, what does energy equals mass multiplied by the speed of light means? That is E equals mc squared. What Einstein was basically saying in layman's terms in that equation is energy is mass. If it's moving at the speed of light, but double or triple or quadruple that speed, it becomes mass. So he was basically saying mass is energy, physical, unphysical. Like I told y'all, all physical things become unphysical things become physical. So when I say the electron is the sperm cell, and the sperm cell is a star, which is the sun, this is what he meant. One thing moving or ascending to become something you could say more physical. So this is what mass is, physical things. So a sperm cell ascending. Energy. Electron is energy. If it's moving at the speed of light or faster, it will become mass. This is what E equal mc squared means simply. So he was simply saying that energy is mass. Simple. Mass is energy. You can't have mass without energy. This is what he was saying. That is what that equation means. Those are Einstein's words. But they correlate somewhat in certain things that I speak of, so I'll leave it there. He was a genius. He should be left as a genius. It's your main man, Solace.